name is Enid Dillard, Director of Marketing and Public Affairs at Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center, and welcome to Health News You Can Use. Mental disorders are common in the United States, with an estimated 26.6% of Americans aged 18 and older, about 1 in 4 adults, suffering from a diagnosable mental illness. This equates to over 57 million people. Mental illness can severely alter a person's life and can lead to disturbing symptoms that can make employment, school, and the demands of an ordinary life a difficult challenge. Mental illness can become devastating if a person becomes debilitated or a threat to themselves or their loved ones. Today we'll take a closer look at this issue as we talk about the signs, the symptoms, and treatment options available. Joining us today is Martine Perrin, Senior Social Worker at Kingsbrook's Mental Health Center. Martine, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Tell us a little bit about the mental health clinic at Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center and some of the services you provide.
Assessment and treatment of mental disorders, including people that suffer from depressive disorders, psychotic disorders, people suffering from just adjustment disorders, grief and bereavement issues. We also provide case management services for people who are in need of housing, people who are in need of food, and we provide a lot of advocacy and linkages to community resources.
Right, so people who really can't take care of themselves
because
of some emotional issue.
We're the front line. We're the front line for these people. And we include also the family as well as other services in the community.
Involved in that. Let's talk about how mental illness is affecting the community right now. I was reading an article, something that the New York State Department of Health and Mental Hygiene put out, and they were saying that at least 16,000 persons in central Brooklyn are suffering now from emotional stress of some sort. What are the attributors to that trend?
There are a lot of factors. There are economic issues. There's the breakdown of the family. We have single mothers trying to contain households with very little income. We have unemployment. We have inflation. The rate of inflation is very high, and people are not able to really survive. And so when they're not able to survive, they develop anxiety disorders. They become depressed. We have a lot of people that suffer from domestic violence issues, and they're traumatized. And so they need to come and work out and figure out ways to cope. And so those are some of the issues.
How much does genealogy or biology play into the mental illness factor?
Well, the research says that genetics plays an important factor, although they're still researching. But definitely, generally, when a person is afflicted with a mental illness, if you look back, you will see that there were some relatives. There was an aunt. There was an uncle. There was someone in the family who had the mental illness.
So it doesn't necessarily mean if your father was bipolar that you'll suffer from the same.
Absolutely not. You have a greater chance of developing the disorder, but because there are environmental factors, it doesn't mean that you're going to develop the disorder.
So how much does environment play?
Well, these days,
mental illness?
Environment plays a lot because there are people suffer, especially in central Brooklyn. People suffer from have so many stressors. We have so many stressors. We have lots of patients that suffer from anxiety disorders because they're not able to support the household because the children are acting out. They're not able to negotiate in the community. If you try to go to the welfare office or if you lose your benefits and you're trying to get your services back, you may have to go 10 times. You may have to miss work. And so that creates a lot of anxiety. And so we're living longer now because of new medical technology. We're living longer, and so we have a lot of losses. So people are left alone in the community and have to adjust to living alone, living with disease, living without the spouse or the primary caretaker. And so
those are some of the factors there.
Definitely.
So let's talk about how mental illness has been affecting immigrants from different countries. So when you're here in this country, you're suffering from some type of emotional stress and you need help. How's that affecting them?
It's affecting them greatly because immigrants come here and it takes some time to assimilate.
Yeah,
it takes some time to know the country, to know where to get services, and there are language barriers. You have to find people that speak your language, and that's not always the case. And so for those reasons, the immigrant population, the Caribbean population, is affected greatly.